Bank Negara kept the overnight policy rate at 1.75%, citing continued improvement in the global economy given the easing of containment measures across more economies and strong policy support. In its monetary policy statement, the central bank said the reopening of production facilities led to a resumption of manufacturing and trade activity, although recovery in the services sector has been slower. It pointed out that financial conditions have improved, and the latest high-frequency indicators show that labour market conditions, household spending and trade activity continue to be on an uptrend. Looking ahead, Bank Negara said the rebound is expected to continue into 2021, but the pace of recovery will be uneven across sectors, while the labour market should experience a slower improvement. The outlook is still subject to downside risks, given the uncertainties surrounding the course of the pandemic. Meanwhile, inflationary pressures are seen staying muted in 2020, although it is expected to average higher come next year. Bank Negara has slashed the OPR 4 consecutive times since the start of this year, with the last cut in July. The FBM KLCI slid 0.44% today, dragged by the continued sell-off in glove makers and as investors digested Bank Negara's decision to maintain the key interest rate. The benchmark composite closed 6.6 points lower at 1,490.12. Overall volume stood at 8.4 billion shares, with turnover at 5.5 billion ringgit. Glove makers emerged as top decliners, led by Supermax Corp, down 18.5% to 6 ringgit and 10 cent. Kosan Rubber Industries down 11.5% to 9 ringgit and 70 cent. Top Glove Corp down 9.8% to 6 ringgit and 45 cent. And Harta Lega down 8.6% to 11 ringgit and 88 cent. But it wasn't just the glove bears. A senior market analyst told The Edge that the decision to maintain the OPR also contributed to today's negative market sentiment. People in the street are seeing it tough, he said, explaining that the central bank may be keeping the rate unchanged ahead of FTSE Russell's upcoming review of the World Government Bond Index to maintain the inclusion of Malaysia's government bonds. He added that there is still another Monetary Policy Committee meeting in November to look out for. The highly contentious vacancy tax on unsold properties will likely not be imposed next year, as it is low on the list of the Housing and Local Government Ministry's priorities. Minister Zuraida Kamarudin says the proposed tax, which has been presented to the Economic Council meeting for discussion, is not what she deems an urgent matter. She told the press today that the idea of a vacancy tax only came about because of the issue of unsold high-end properties. According to Zuraida, there are 29,000 such units worth 29 billion ringgit. For now, however, her ministry's focus is on easing home ownership among the B40 and M40 income groups, and it is up to the developers to manage their unsold inventories. Previously, Zuraida reportedly said that her ministry was formulating a tax on developers who fail to sell their units in a bid to solve Malaysia's property overhang. However, there is concern that this would only hurt the local market and cause overall prices to fall further. Former 1MDB CEO Mohd Hazem Abdul Rahman will take the stand as the 10th prosecution witness in Datuk Sri Najib Razak's 1MDB tenor trial next Monday. This is after the Kuala Lumpur High Court decided to allow his witness statement in its entirety in the 2.28 billion ringgit graft trial. Lead Defence Counsel Tan Sri Muhammad Shafi Abdullah was seeking to remove 24 pages out of Mohd Hazem's witness statement, which is over 100 pages long, on the basis of hearsay and conjecture. Shafi argued that the hearsay in the statement would further incriminate his client. Justice Colin Lawrence Sequeira, however, wrote that it was premature to decide admissibility at this stage and that he will determine if Hazem's witness statement does indeed constitute hearsay after the end of the prosecution's case. Mohd Hazem was successor to ex-1MDB CEO Datuk Syahrul Azra Ibrahim Halmi, who is also a prosecution witness in the same trial. Najib is facing 4 counts of abuse of power for using his position as the then Prime Minister, Finance Minister and 1MDB Board of Advisors Chairman to receive gratification worth 2.28 billion ringgit. He also faces 21 counts of money laundering involving over 4.3 billion ringgit. Former Goldman Sachs banker Roger Ng Chong Hua wants the Attorney General's chambers to review the charges against him for his role in the issuance of $6.5 billion or about 27.1 billion ringgit worth of 1MDB bonds. This comes after Malaysia withdrew criminal charges against Goldman Sachs and its subsidiaries for their role in the exercise. In exchange, the US investment bank paid $2.5 billion and guaranteed the recovery of at least $1.4 billion of assets acquired with monies originating from 1MDB. Ng's lawyer Datuk Tan Hock Chuan told the KL High Court that a letter of representation was sent to the Attorney General's chambers yesterday. Ng was charged at the KL Sessions Court with 4 counts of abetting Goldman Sachs in the issuance of 1MDB-linked bonds by omitting material facts and making false statements. In May 2020, he was extradited to the US to face charges for conspiring to launder money and bribe government officials in Malaysia and Abu Dhabi through the bond offerings. Ng has pleaded not guilty to all charges in both countries.